Hey yo, peace, Juice the Metaphysical. I'm back in the building with some more enlightenment for y'all, with some knowledge for y'all. Let me add some value to y'all space, all right? Anybody who rock with me, anybody who check my videos out, let me add some value to y'all space, all right? So on this video, what I'm about to talk about is infidelity and cheating. Yes, we're going back to relationships. We're going to talk about cheating and infidelity. Now, we all know that infidelity, for the most part, right, it has a negative aspect, a negative aura around it, right? And it's no knock to that, because who want to get cheated on, right? Like, who wants to get used? Who wants to be in a relationship where you express your love to someone, where you do everything you can to show them how much you love them, you cater to their wants, needs, and desires, and in the end, they go creep with someone else, right? That don't feel good. And listen, I've been there too. Best believe I've been cheated on too, multiple times, especially in my younger ages, right? My younger ages, why they really know no better, right? Um, so let's talk about infidelity, right? Now, when you talk about relationships, right? One of the questions is why did this individual cheat on me? Why did this individual decide to step outside a relationship after I gave them my all, after I cooked, I cleaned, I catered to their needs, right? I went out my way. I gave them my car. I paid the bills. I worked. Everything I did in my life was a result of giving it to that other individual. And they still stepped out of a relationship. Why they do that? You got to ask yourself that, right? Now, let me go ahead and say this, because this is one of my mottos, right? When it comes to relationships, this is one of my famous mottos. I use this motto to apply to my personal life, right? I use this to apply to my personal life because sometimes you got to use certain sayings, certain belief systems to apply to help you navigate through the storms, through the trials and tribulations. You need certain things you need to apply to your life to help you navigate through those negative times, through that turmoil. One of the mottos that I follow is love is about appreciation, not possession. Let me repeat myself. Love is about appreciation, not possession, right? So when you're in a relationship with someone, the main thing you want to do is appreciate the times that you have with them, the times that y'all are able to cater to each other's energy. That's the thing you want to appreciate the most. You have to realize nothing in this life is guaranteed. The only thing in this life is guaranteed is death. That's the only thing. So whenever you get in a relationship with someone, it's an investment. You're investing your time, you're investing your energy, your money, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. You're investing all them things into that individual. And anybody who's into business, you have to know that some investments work out, some investments don't. However, it's an investment. So whenever you're in a relationship, you have to have the mentality that it might not work out forever, right? You have to have that mentality. If you don't have that mentality, what's going to happen is you're going to become too attached to that individual that you're in a relationship with. And what happens with attachment is if that individual feel like they done outgrown the relationship, or they feel like they want to step outside a relationship, when you're attached, you try to control that person and whatever they want to do, and whatever and however they want to do it, right? And this is how sometimes relationships could be possession, because now you feel like you own that individual that you're in a relationship with, right? So when you're in a relationship, what you have to realize, the key component to relationship is relating. It's the art of relating. How well do you relate with another individual? Now, whenever you get in a relationship, The beginning stages is always honeymoon stages. It's always good. The reason why a lot of people cheat, or the first of all, there's a lot of reasons why people cheat. But if you was to ask me, the main reason why people step out of a relationship is because you quit supporting the other individual's ideas, their dreams, their goals, their wants, their needs, the desire. You quit supporting that. When you was in a relationship when you first met them, you was doing all them things, right? Most relationships formulate because of a level of newness, right? So when you first meet someone, it's that newness feeling. It's like that new car smell when you get a car. The new pair of shoes, that pair of shoes, you know that smell when you get that first pair of shoes, that form of newness, yes, that makes people want to come together. However, who how how can you maintain that, right? It's hard to maintain that. It's hard to cater to someone's wants, needs, desires, their thoughts, their attention, to elevate when you've been with someone for 5+ years. Most people become complacent. Most people become too comfortable. Most people come into mental a mentality where they feel like their partner is not going anywhere because y'all become used to each other, right? You become familiar. So you feel like that partner's not going anywhere because y'all been together for X amount of years. And if you got that mentality, you got to realize that could be a recipe for disaster, because when you become too comfortable and too complacent in a relationship, what happens is you quit doing the things that you used to do. So now you're too relaxed. And when you become too relaxed, you're not paying attention to everything that's going on in your relationship, right? Because you're comfortable. You're not thinking about the other individual, right? Because you feel like you got them. Now you possess them. So now, when it comes to cheating and infidelity, let's be 100. We live in a generation. We live in an era. This era right now, we worship side pieces. Let's just be 100, man. Let's just be 100. In 2025, it's like the side piece era. You hear it in the music, right? Most people like y'all be on TikTok. I really don't be on TikTok, but I be seeing these like what's some stories called, when people be like real life story, right? When they talk about like a certain relationship with an individual, story time, that's what it's called, story time, right? And in these story times they be talking about infidelity and cheating, and either they were the cheater or they were the one to get cheated on. Now, once again, love is about appreciation, not possession. We don't own anyone, right? When you're in a relationship with someone, right, the key is to love that individual more in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth year than you did when you first met them. If you love them more later on in your relationship than you did when you first met them, I guarantee that person's not going to cheat. They're not going to go anywhere, because that love and that connection became stronger the longer the duration of the relationship. That doesn't happen nowadays. What happens nowadays in most relationships, the longer you've been with someone, the more tired or fed up you get with that individual. That's just facts. So let's talk about the positive side of infidelity and cheating, right? And I know that sounds crazy because people gonna be like, the positive side, what's positive about getting cheated on? Now, once again, whenever you're going through different struggles, different trials, challenges in your life, you have to have a certain mentality. You got to program your mind to think a certain way for you to, you know what I'm saying, deal with these certain situations, right? Now, once again, if you feel like you possess that individual, you're going to get emotionally attached to whatever that individual is doing, something that's not in alignment with what you feel and think. So if that person decides to step out, you're going to feel like, I need to hurt this person. I need to try to destroy this person's life. They cheated on me. This person need to get punished. They need to get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Most people feel like that because you feel like you own that individual based off the title of the connection that y'all put upon each other. And in most cases, in none, when two energies are heavily connected, y'all eventually put a title on that connection, aka that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend. Take it to another level, a higher level, that's my husband and my wife. Y'all put a title on that connection. Y'all decide to put a definition on that connection. And that lets you know that the attachment is there. So when you're in a relationship, you have to realize the key is to find new love languages, right? So if you've been in a relationship with someone for a long time, you want to create a scenario where you're forever finding a level of newness, right? A level of creativity where you're not predictable. You know what I'm saying? Like you like you if you're in a relationship with someone, you're not easily readable. Like the person that you're in a relationship with, they can't read you like that. Because once again, when your relationship with someone for a long time and they become predictable, the relationship gets boring. That's just facts. If you like think about listening to a song over and over and over again, you know the lyrics of the song, you know the beat, you know the dance. Or if you watch a TV show or a movie and you watch it over and over and over again on repetition, you know all the the lyrics in that movie, or you know what I'm saying, like whatever the actor, the actresses are saying, or that TV show, like Martin. That's one of my favorite shows, Martin. Like a lot of those shows of Martin, I could tell you line for line what each person's about to say because I watch it all the time. It's predictable because I watch it all the time, and that's how a lot of relationships are. When you become predictable, your spirit kind of feel like it's in bondage because it's like you in a vortex or a cycle where you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So what happens is when you're in a relationship and you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's kind of natural for someone to find someone outside of that space where that someone is showing them something that's different. They're showing them something that's not in alignment with what you're going through in a relationship that's very repetitive, right? That's very predictable. So when someone is showing you a different type of love, a different type of knowledge, especially if y'all having stimulating conversations, right? You're learning something from someone else outside of a relationship that is stimulating your mind. You're around someone else, right? Where you can't predict what they about to say or how they think because they're new, right? That can be very attractive, right? Like let's just be 100. That could be attractive. That's why the key is if you're in a relationship to always develop a way where you could add a different element or a way of enhancement. For example, right? If you been in a relationship with someone and y'all been in a relationship for a lot of years, right? You want to add a different element to your relationship. So let's say like in the bedroom, right? When you first get in a relationship with someone in the bedroom, yes, the sex could be very exciting, right? The sex could be very passionate, very intimate. But if y'all keep doing the same sexual positions, or if y'all keep being in the same area, like AKA the same house, having sex in the same house or the same car, or you keep having sex in the same spot, once again, that can become predictable, becomes boring. It's natural for your spirit to want to experience something new. So if you're in a relationship, right, and you've been with somebody for a long time, what you want to do is add an enhancement to the bedroom. So how can you do that? You want to travel together, right? So when you travel together and y'all do decide to get freaky, it's in a different atmosphere, it's in a different environment, right? So you're not in the same house. you're not in the same car, or you're not doing the same things that you've been doing that you're used to. Now your spirit is feeling something different, right? So when the spirit feeling something different, is it you know what I'm saying? Like it gravitates to that, right? It's like magnetic energy. Your spirit loves to do something that's new, because no spirit wants to be in bondage. The spirit is not meant to be in prison. So when you're in a relationship where you cannot fully express yourself and you keep doing the same things over and over again, it kind of feel like you're in the twilight zone, and you're putting your spirit in in a prison cell, whether you know it or you're not, whether you know it or you're not. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we do this unconsciously, not knowing that we do this, right? So when a lot of people do cheat, that's the reason they cheat, because they find somebody outside a partner that's adding a new element to their lifestyle that they're curious about, that they gain a lightness about, right? So that sometimes a lot of people cheat because of the curiosity. It's not always because the person was a bad person that they with. Sometimes it's just the curiosity of them finding someone else, or meeting someone that showed them a different, like a different reality, right? So a lot of times we always put a thumbs down on cheating. However, if we look at the positive side of cheating, there are people who were in a relationship with a cheater, and they broke up with that individual. Now they're in a relationship with the love of their life. So yes, at that moment, that individual cheated on you. Yeah, that was negative. It was bad. You didn't like it. It had an impact in your life. Yeah, you probably was crying, listening to slow songs, probably eating a lot of foods, dealing with stress. However, when you end up meeting the love of your life, you don't think about those moments anymore. Now you appreciate the new person, because the person that was doing you wrong, they're not with you no more. So is that a negative or a positive thing at the end of the day? So the person that cheating on you, you end up getting with someone who treat you like royalty, and you're in a happier state, or you in a state of bliss and heavenly state more with the new partner than you were with the old partner. Ain't you kind of glad that your old partner introduced you to that new partner? Because if that old partner would have never cheated, you would have never been introduced to the new partner, right? Let's be 100, because a lot of people, we tend to stay in relationships that's not beneficial towards our development, that's not beneficial towards our growth. And when you've been in a relationship with someone for years upon years, it's kind of natural for most people to become comfortable to the point they quit doing them things that they used to do when they first got the person that they're in a relationship with. So now what happens when you get too comfortable, you become too relaxed. So when you become too relaxed, you're not using that creativity. You're doing the same things over and over again. You're not trying to enhance the relationship. You're not trying to find new things to stimulate the relationship. It's like that relationship is on a treadmill. Yeah, y'all running, y'all walking, y'all jogging, but y'all not going anywhere. You're running in the same place. So you can see why the spirit sometimes want to go see or venture off to someone else, right? So at the end of the day, like I said, I've been cheating on multiple times, especially back in the day. I don't get cheated on now. I don't think I get cheated on now. Honestly, I know I don't get cheated on now, because when women cheated on me, let me tell y'all my mentality, right? When I got cheated on, because a lot of times we as humans tend to blame the person who cheated on you. We tend to blame them, like, oh yeah, you was the bad person. You cheated on me. You was the mess up. You feel me? I don't want to curse and all that. I'm trying to keep this clean because I know my parents might be watching. You feel me? Shout out to my parents. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep this clean like a Will Smith record. You feel me? Like, however, a lot of times, right, when someone cheat on you, we always blame the other person, and make it seem like they were the bad one. And I'm not trying to say you shouldn't feel like that. I'm not trying to say that. However, when I got cheated on, right, I didn't blame her. You know who I blame? I blame myself. That's how I program my mind to think. I blame myself. So by me blaming myself for her stepping out or going to get with someone else while we're in a relationship, I ask myself, why did she even look at another person to see if they existed? If she's in a relationship with me, what did I do, or what I didn't do for her to even have another man to exist in her life? That's the mentality I had. So when a woman cheated on me, I used that formula to so when I got in the next relationship, I used that formula to enhance my relationship, right? So I had to ask myself, why did another man exist? Even if I felt like I did everything right. See, that's the thing. You could be in a relationship and you feel like you're doing everything right. You're doing everything to a T. You cross your T's, you dot your I's. You feel like you're doing everything that's perfect. You feel like there's no way this person should cheat on me because I'm the best boyfriend, I'm the best girlfriend, I'm the best husband, I'm the best wife. I'm doing everything to cater to them. But do your partner feel like that? It's easy for us to feel like that, but do your partner feel like that? Because sometimes we become too self-centered where we feel like we doing everything, but deep down your partner and not feeling like that. And what happens is your partner steps out to experience a relationship or experience a life with someone else. So with me, I had to ask myself, why did she go somewhere else? And this is why I got a book coming out, 15 Things a Man Could Do to Get the Best Version of a Woman. All right. The original book was 15 Things a Man Could Do when a Woman Won't Cheat, but I had to change that title. 15 Things a Man Could Do to get the best version of his woman. Because if a man can get the best version of his woman, a woman is not going to leave a situation where she gets the best perks, where she is allowed to be herself, and where she is getting that love reciprocated from that man, right? And that man is teaching her new things. That man is doing things that's so great. No other man can exist. No other man can relate. She's not going to leave that situation. She's not. And from my experiences, most men cheat more than women. That's from my experiences, right? I'm not looking at no stat poll. I'm not reading no book. In my 40 plus years of living, I seen most men cheat more than women. You know, you talk to another guy or you talk to another girl, they might feel the opposite, and that's cool. Your experiences is what shapes your truth, right? So the fact that I've seen more men cheat and the women end up cheating as a result of that man cheating, right? You could see why a lot of women stepped out of a relationship, and in most cases now I feel like some people say men love harder, some people say women love harder. um I would rather my woman love me harder than I love her, because when a woman loves her man harder, she will multiply everything he has going on in his life times 10. She's an enhancement when a man has that woman who love harder than he does. Now, if a man love harder than that woman may take advantage of that man's love based off the benefits she get from his love, right? So at the end of the day, cheating is cheating. Um, Regardless of how you look at it, regardless of how you define it, it could be positive and it could be negative. Once again, I don't condone cheating. I feel like you should be honest with your partner. I feel like you should be upfront. I feel like you should be loyal. But at the same time, if you're in a relationship with your partner, because communication is key, and you're expressing to your partner that I need this in a relationship, or I need that or I need a certain feeling in a relationship, and that person you with ignores it, or they feel like you're complaining, you tripping, and the way they handle it they're not trying to listen, you can't get mad at that person cheat. Now, first of all, you should break up with them, but you can't get mad they cheat. All right. So listen, I never went to law school. I don't judge, right? I don't judge. At the end of the day, in order, especially men, because I'm a man, if you don't want a woman to cheat, you got to bring the best version out that woman, and you got to create a space and an atmosphere where no other man exists because you that guy. You that guy. Everything them other men is trying to offer her, you're giving her that 10 times plus more. So them guys don't exist. She's not even thinking about another guy. I don't care how handsome he is. I don't care how much money he has. I don't care if his status in the corporation or if he's a boss on the streets or if he's like an alpha male. All that doesn't matter when a woman is with a man who possess all the qualities in himself that she is naturally attracted to. That woman would not cheat fast. Most people cheat because they're trying to fill a void within themselves that they feel like they're missing in a relationship. So whatever that void is, in a current relationship, they try to seek that with someone else. All right. So tell me what y'all think, man. Right? Tell me what y'all think. Um, Juice the Metaphysical. I'm out. I got this book coming out. The book is how each zodiac sign starts to cheat, and I got a chapter breaking down the whole concept of infidelity and cheating, and then we about to go into how each zodiac sign starts or how they might cheat or start thinking about cheating on you. Facts. How each zodiac sign starts cheating or maybe they're thinking about cheating on you. Yeah. So look forward to that. And yeah, I'm out. Juice the Metaphysical. Peace. One.